It's not by accident that you're watching this video. Something in you has stirred a quiet need to understand why being kind, generous, and caring doesn't always bring the peace or connection you thought it would. You've tried to do the right thing. You've been helpful, patient, considerate. But instead of being appreciated, you're often overlooked, disregarded, even ridiculed. It feels unjust. Why is the love you give not always returned? Why does your compassion sometimes become a burden? And why, in a world so desperate for goodness, are the good so often left standing alone? In this video, we're going to go deep not into self-help cliches or quick fixes, but into the philosophical and psychological roots of why kindness, when unguarded, is sometimes rejected rather than revered. You'll learn the 5 hidden reasons why good-hearted people are often treated poorly, and more importantly, how to protect your value without becoming cold or cynical. By the end of this journey, you won't just feel seen, you'll be equipped. Let's begin. You were likely raised to believe that goodness is its own reward, that kindness speaks for itself. But here's a bitter truth. In the absence of boundaries, even goodness can look like weakness. Philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche warned of this. He criticized what he called slave morality, a passive kind of goodness that exists to avoid conflict rather than confront injustice. When you give endlessly without a clear line, people don't see a saint, they often see a servant. Why? Because humans test limits, not always out of malice, but as a way of navigating trust and power. In a world where strength is often equated with dominance, kindness can be misread as submissiveness. If you're always saying yes, always available, always giving, you stop being a person with depth and become a utility. This doesn't mean kindness is wrong. It means that ethically powerful kindness requires structure. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." But he also trained as a warrior. His compassion was not naive, it was balanced with self-discipline and dignity. You're not meant to be a sponge for others' chaos. You're meant to be a light with a form, a fire with a hearth. Without edges, people lose the ability to respect your warmth. When you act from sincerity, you unknowingly carry a mirror. And that mirror reflects something uncomfortable for many, who they are not ready to be. Your kindness becomes a kind of quiet judgment. It reminds them of their bitterness, their unresolved wounds, their unhealed cynicism. This is a phenomenon Carl Jung would call projection, when others cast their inner discomfort onto the nearest available screen. In this case, you help them, they question your motives. You give without expecting. They assume you're manipulating. You stay kind even when mistreated. They call you naive. But what they're reacting to isn't really you. It's the tension between who they are and who they wish they could be. In Buddhist philosophy, this is the conflict of dukkha, inner suffering caused by clinging to illusions. And one of the greatest illusions is believing that vulnerability equals weakness. So when your presence challenges someone's tightly held world, you one based on survival, ego, and mistrust, they may react not with curiosity, but contempt. It's painful, but it's not personal. You didn't fail them by being kind. They just weren't ready for that kind of mirror. Society, as it's structured today, runs on transactions, not compassion. Think of it: status, networking, influence. We're told everything is an exchange. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So when someone appears in that system acting purely from generosity, it breaks the code. You're not following the script. You're playing a different game. Plato spoke of this in the Republic. He imagined a society where justice existed not for gain, but as a virtue, something practiced for its own sake. But even in his time, he noted how rare that was. People preferred control and calculation to grace and generosity. And when someone disrupts that, they get punished. not because they're wrong, but because they're different. In today's world, your refusal to manipulate, dominate, or calculate marks you as a threat to the ego-based order. People may mock you, push you aside, or test you not out of superiority, but out of discomfort. You're proof that there's another way, one that doesn't rely on power plays or masked intentions. And some people aren't ready for that. But here's the twist. The most transformative figures in history, Buddha, Jesus, Gandhi, Mandela, they too defied the game. Their kindness wasn't passive, it was revolutionary. So if you feel out of place, maybe you're not weak. Maybe you're just ahead of your time. Here's a subtle trap. When you're kind, generous, and always there, people begin to offload their emotional weight onto you like you're built to carry it. At first, it feels good. You feel useful, needed, but over time your own needs fade. You stop being seen as a whole person and start becoming a role: the helper, the listener, the fixer. In psychology, this is often seen in what's called codependent dynamics. You give, they take, but it's not reciprocal, it's extractive. What's worse, your silence teaches people that your boundaries don't matter. Philosopher Simone Weil wrote, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity." But if your attention is always outward, you become spiritually depleted. Real generosity requires emotional oxygen, and if you're always giving, you run out. Being there for others is beautiful, but being there for yourself is essential. Start asking, who checks on me, who listens to me without needing something, who sees me beyond what I offer? You deserve to be a person, not a function. Here's the paradox: the more freely available you are, the more people devalue what you offer. Think about it. If a rare flower blooms every day, people stop noticing. If someone always says yes, people stop asking if they're okay. This is not cynicism, it's a feature of human psychology. We place greater value on things that are limited, intentional, and chosen. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus advised, know the price of everything you give and give nothing thoughtlessly. Why? Because careless generosity creates careless expectations. Your kindness should be a conscious act, not a constant reflex. It's not selfish to pause. It's not cruel to say no. In fact, it's that very pause that creates contrast, and it's contrast that makes your goodness truly visible. Don't let your presence become background noise in other people's lives. Give, but do so strategically, sustainably, and soulfully. So, why does kindness so often lead to disrespect? Not because kindness is wrong, but because when unshielded, it invites projection, dependency, and invisibility. Your job is not to become less kind. Your job is to become consciously kind, to integrate your strength, your dignity, your assertiveness into your goodness. This is not the death of compassion. This is its evolution. Protect your peace, define your edges, say yes from a place of strength, not obligation. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Don't shrink to be loved. Stand tall to be respected. If you found this video meaningful, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and let us know in the comments, have you ever felt punished for being kind? How did you reclaim your boundaries? Thank you for watching. And remember, your kindness is a gift, but only if you give it wisely.